Ladies and gentlemen, Redis geeks and geekettes, welcome to Redis Day.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dekel Shavit. I'm the VP of Operations and CISO for a company called Biometrics. And I'm going to share with you our Redis story and how we leverage some of the capabilities within Redis to basically ramp up our product and give better service to our clients. So I'll start by explaining a little bit about what Biometrics is and what we do. At the end of the day, we're a behavioral biometrics company. What does that mean? We analyze how you interact with an online application. It could be a website. It could be a mobile application in order to solve one of the major issues in online today, which is the identity issue. Let me explain what the identity issue is. How do you log into a website or to any application today? You use your username and password, maybe two-factor authentication. In mobile, it could be iris, it could be fingerprint, but all of this data is static data. And eventually, if it's not already out there, it will be out there. For example, about 9 months ago, a company by the name of Equifax in the US got hacked. 150 million Americans kind of user history and all of their information was basically leaked. So if I'm a hacker, I probably have most of that information available. So I have your username and password, your social security number, your credit student loan and stuff like that available. So it's really easy to get this data. And that's the basic data we always use to log in to somewhere. So what Biometrics is doing is we're trying to kind of understand if this is you, not based upon static data, but mostly based upon behavioral data. Behavioral data is the way you use your mouse, the way you hold your phone and use it, how you touch the screen, how you scroll the mouse, how the currency of your keyboard, stuff like that. So it's basically you. And we use this technology in 3 main kind of product line. One is fraud detection, basically. Let's say this computer is already logged into my banking application. And I'm going to the bathroom to take a leak. And then, someone comes to the computer, he can start, doing transaction on behalf of me. That's not longer available for him to do if my bank is using the Biometrics technology, because I will know based on the behavioral characteristic of the session, even if it's in the middle of the session, that's no longer the user. The other kind of line of product we have is identity proofing. That's a scenario which I'm not sure who the user is. I don't know who the user. I don't have his user history. But I see that there's something stinky within this specific session. And I'll give an example. Let's say I'm in a big credit kind of financial institution, and you're applying for a credit card, right? I don't know your history most of the time, but there's a certain way a hacker would behave versus a normal user. So we can say something about this specific session based on the behavioral characteristic of those sessions, even if I don't know the user. And the third thing we're kind of doing right now is something called continuous authentication. We have the assumption that we know who you are, right? So why do I need you to authenticate? Why? I already know it's you to a certain degree. So what we're doing behind the scene is continuously authenticating the session. And we have some implementation where there is no longer password, and we're reducing the friction. So, iris and fingerprint are good, but they're still creating friction with the user. The kind of where the world is going, we want to reduce as much friction as possible, but still keep this safe. So this is the Biometrics technology will be able to do that, and we're already doing this for some of our customers. So that's what we're doing. Some numbers are on our universe. We're currently protecting more than 70 million online users. It could be online pure web application, it could be mobile, it could be a mix of those. We process about 5 billion transactions per month. Transaction in the Biometrics world is actually a session. So just to kind of give you the a sense of what the amount of data we are talking about. A mobile session on a banking application usually takes about 2 to 4 minutes. From every press that the person touched the mobile device, I'm collecting 14,000 data points. So just imagine how much data I'm collecting throughout the session. Our customers are top-tier financial institutions and enterprise, basically top 500 companies. We have over 15 patents, either granting or pending. We do the integration with the customers very simply via JavaScript if it's a web or SDK mobile for mobile to get us all the behavioral data so we'll be able to use it. Now let's start talking about Redis because this is more interesting. So why are we using Redis? Biometrics, like a lot of very good startups, grew up really fast. And we first designed our product. We didn't have in mind, 50 million users. We want to get to the market fast. And we didn't think about the data models and data architecture very heavily. We just wanted to get out a product to the market. And basically, we had a problem. Our business started to ramp up. And we grew up really fast, and there were scaling issues. And we couldn't build more features into the product because we were heavily focusing on solving the scaling issue. So at a certain point in time, we said, OK, we need to stop this. We need to redesign a lot of the stuff we're doing right now. And part of this goes back to Redis. We basically redesigned the entire technology stack. And part of the main decision was to use Redis. And we wanted to use Redis. First, we wanted to remove basically, we had a lot of virtual machines running, keeping session state and data state within each machine. So if a machine would fall down, I would lose all the session that machine was handling. In the fraud world, that's a big no-no. Another thing, it was not very scalable. It was scalable, but it cost us a lot of money. And that's not a good thing. So at the end of the day, we wanted to decouple the compute, basically, from the state. That's one thing. And we want to do more with the data. I had the discussion with my data science team and my machine learning team and the professional services team, and everybody was wanting more data and more hot data, not just like the back-end data, to do real-time things. Even talking to clients and showing them what we're doing with data. And we couldn't really do it because we didn't have like one data repository. So what do we do with Redis today? We build up our new version. We're using our Redis Labs Enterprise. And what are we doing? We're storing the behavioral data. That's basically a profile of you. We model your behavior, and we store a subset of the profile in order to use it to provide what we call a behavioral score for every session. We also store a subset of what we call predefined fraudulent behavior. We know how fraudsters work, and we can predict that. So there's a model within the system that basically say, OK, if this happens, and I'm just simplifying things, if somebody is doing copy-paste and doing a left mouse movement, that's probably a fraudster. Let's put a mark on that session. So there's a predefined fraudulent behavioral profile. There's also some geolocation data. And what was really neat, as we kind of started developing the architecture, we found out that Redis is really good as a database. And not just like a simple database, a system configuration database. We have a lot of configuration, a lot of information, which is used by a lot of people within BioCatch to provide service. And all of that data now is within Redis because it's available. It's always responding fast, no matter how you query it. And it's really useful for us. That's the basic architecture of our product. I'm not going to walk over this because I think we had too much of this. But what's the main kind of takeaway from here is there's the Redis Enterprise VPC in the middle. We're now leveraging a lot of the Redis capability to have kind of single source of truth database within the system. And it's spread apart, and we're using it for many kind of usage within BioCatch. But the main thing is here, we don't need to care about scale anymore. It's really easy for us to focus right now on the product aspect and the professional aspects of what we're trying to do with the customer because we don't need to cater to anything related to data at scale. And that's a huge shift from where we were like 6 months ago. I think I'll go for it here. Anything specific I want to share here? No. OK, some of our kind of facts on how we use Redis and numbers. So we average about 2 terabytes of data within Redis. And I say average because in our world, we're basically, the amount of data in Redis is based upon the number of sessions we're handling in any given time. So it's kind of fluctuating. And there are various Redis database in size ranging from 1 terabyte to 100 gigabytes, small customer versus big customer, about 300 million keys, peaking at about almost 40, it's actually more than that right now, peaking at about 40,000 ops per second, and with an average latency of 0.26 millisecond. Actually, it's less. That's the 95 percentile. And the biggest advantages for BioCatch is we had 0 downtime and 0 issues ever since we started using this solution. And on top of that, my DevOps team and my kind of operation teams do not need to handle all of the operation aspect of handling a large-scale complex Redis. My development team do not need to think about resharding and sharding and indexes and stuff like that. It's a great service I'm getting, and it simply works. My best analogy I have is, a product simply works, you don't care how. When you're using Google search, it simply works, right? You don't know how you're using it. That's the best analogy one of my developer gave me. I asked him, hey, what are you doing? I saw him developing something new. I asked him, what are you doing? Say, I'm using Redis to showcase some of the interesting data to a new potential client. And I was like, OK, what you're doing within Redis? He said, I don't know. I'm just using the API. I'm inserting data, and I'm getting data. That's amazing for me. So we're using Redis now, heavily using on Redis. Basically, if Redis is down, BioCatch is down. That's as simple as it is. And we're starting to think about our kind of how we can leverage Redis more and more. So Redis on Flash, that's probably one of our biggest kind of investments we're going to do down the road. When I say investments, actually, we don't need to invest a lot. It's just implementing it. And in our kind of world, we have big data set, but a small working set, and that makes Redis on Flash great. Active geo distribution, that's really interesting. So what we found out, we see fraud across the world. We have a lot of clients spread across the continents. And what we see is fraud is becoming more and more kind of a business, right? So it's not somebody sitting on a computer at home just trying to hack a bank, right? Those are organizations investing a lot of money and time in designing attacks that will work. So let's say I have a lot of customers that are spread across the globe, right? Consider your really big banks across the world. They are spread. They're not just working in one location, right? They're working across the globe. So we want to use active geo distribution to take all the data we have and kind of take a subset of that and replicate it in order to get the same insight we got from one fraud department across the globe, right? So if one fraud department is just work with us and we found something interesting and we model it, we can spread it easily across the world automatically. That's something we're working hard in order to implement. And the other thing, and that's more in the context of authentication, in authentication, when you think about it, response time is really critical, right? You're doing user password. We're trying to figure out if it's you, or even if you're not doing user password. The latency issue is a problem. You can't wait 2 seconds to log into somewhere, right? If I would need to wait 2 seconds to log into my banking application, I would simply close the application. And I have, again, customers which are spread across the globe. I can't have the data in a third region. I need the data to be available wherever the end user is. So we'll probably use geo-replication for that. We're a heavy user of Spark for all our machine learning and deep learning. And we're probably going to start working with Spark and Redis side by side to do it better. We're also testing some models the current available models within Redis Enterprise to see if we can leverage them, because there's a lot of good stuff. We can save a lot of work, in-house work, and use all the work being done by Redis to kind of speed up the process. And Redis Stream is also something we're really interested into solving a lot of kind of issues we're facing today. I kind of consider Redis Stream as a semi-ETL process we can leverage to speed up a lot of the back-end things we're doing right now manually. Not manually, but we're coding them on the back end. And that's something we're probably going to invest soon also, because it has a lot of advantages. And I think I'm done, and you can go and eat dessert. Any questions? Thank you.